I'll be honest with you. When I first decided to do an episode on gratitude, I almost changed my mind because I've heard the gratitude speeches, I've seen the journals, I've read the posts. Just be thankful, count your blessings, choose joy. And every time there's a part of me that wants to say, what about the days when you can't find anything to be grateful for? What about the days when the bills are overdue and the marriage is strained and the kids won't stop fighting and you're so tired you're crying in the shower? What about those days? That's what this episode is actually about. Welcome to the Better Life Project, conversations for growth, purpose, and everyday life. I'm glad you're here. In this podcast, we'll explore meaningful ideas, honest conversations, and practical ways to grow into a better version of ourselves. Let's begin. Welcome back. I'm really glad you showed up today. 5 episodes in. Can you believe that one? If you've been here from the beginning, I want you to know you are not just a listener anymore. You are part of something. Last week, we talked about identity, about the question, who are you becoming? And I got so many messages from people who sat with those 3 sentences and felt something shift. That's why we do this. That right there. Today, I want to talk about gratitude, but I want to start somewhere unexpected. I want to start with a man named David. David was 41. He'd just gone through a divorce after 14 years of marriage, lost his job 3 months later, moved into a 1-bedroom apartment with a mattress on the floor and a single pot in the kitchen. His daughter was 8. She came to stay on weekends, and every Friday night when he picked her up, he'd pace on a smile and tell himself he was fine. One Saturday morning, she climbed into his bed, looked around his bare little apartment and said, with complete unfiltered 8-year-old honesty, "Dad, this place is kind of sad." And he laughed, actually laughed, out loud, for the first time in months. Because she was right. It was kind of sad. And somehow, having someone say it out loud, having no more pretending, cracks something open in him. He told me later, that was the moment I stopped fighting my life and started actually living it. Gratitude didn't start for David with journal and a sunrise. It started in a bare apartment with a kid who told him the truth. That's the kind of gratitude we're talking about today. Let me tell you what gratitude is not. It is not pretending everything is fine. It is not toxic positivity. That exhausting pressure to smile through pain and call it strength. It is not a feeling you perform for other people so they think you have it together. Real gratitude is harder than that and more honest. And once you find it, so much more powerful. Here's what the science actually says. And I want you to hear this part carefully because it changed how I understood everything. Dr. Robert Emmons at University of California, one of the world's leading researchers on gratitude, ran a series of studies where he asked one group of people to write down a few things they were grateful for each week. Another group wrote about daily irritations. A third group wrote about neutral events. After 10 weeks, the gratitude group reported feeling 25% happier. They exercised more. They had fewer complaints about physical symptoms. And here's the one that stabbed me cold. They were more likely to help someone else. Gratitude made them more generous, more connected, more alive to other people's needs. But Emmons also found something that the Instagram version of gratitude never tells you. The people who experienced the deepest gratitude were not the ones who had the easiest lives. They were the ones who had faced real hardship and found something, anything, worth holding on to inside it. Not despite the difficulty, because of it. There's a concept in Japanese culture called wabi-sabi. It's the art of finding beauty in imperfection. In the cracked bowl that has been repaired with gold, in the weathered wood, in the flower that blooms in the wrong season. Wabi-sabi says, the broken places are not the problem. They are where the beauty lives. That is what real gratitude is. Not a list of good things, a way of seeing. A way of looking at your actual life. The complicated, unfinished, sometimes heartbreaking reality of it. And saying, there is something here worth being grateful for. And neuroscience backs this up completely. When you practice gratitude consistently, your brain literally rewires. The neutral pathways associated with negativity bias, the ancient survival wiring that makes you fixate on threats, begin to quiet. New pathways associated with positive expectancy and connection strengthen. You are not just changing your mood. You are changing your brain. You are slowly and surely becoming a different kind of person. Now let's get into the real stuff, because I don't want to talk about gratitude in ideal conditions. I want to talk about gratitude in your actual life. Let's go first with parenting. Parenting is loud. It is relentless. It is a series of small emergencies interrupted by meals nobody wants to eat. And on the hardest days, when everyone is crying, including you, when you've said the wrong thing again, when you are running on no sleep and maximum guilt, gratitude feels like a cruel joke. I'm not going to tell you to be grateful for those moments. I'm going to tell you something smaller and truer. Find one thing, just one. The way your child smells after a bath, the fact that they reach for your hand without thinking about it, the ridiculous joke they told at dinner that made no sense but you laugh anyway, the fact that they are here, healthy, loud, impossibly alive. Because here is what I know about parenting and gratitude. And I say this with everything I have. The days you are most desperate to get through are the ones you will one day give anything to go back to. Not all of them, not every hard minute, but the season of it. The smallness of their hands, the way they mispronounce things, the face you are sure will never end, the one day ends without warning. Gratitude in parenting is not about loving every moment. It's about noticing enough of them that when they're gone, you don't feel like you missed it. Second, let's go to finance. This one might be the hardest application today. So stay with me. How do you feel grateful when you are in debt? When you are living paycheck to paycheck? When you open your bank account and feel that particular specific dread that only financial stress can produce? I'm not going to tell you to be grateful for the debt. That's nonsense. But here is what I've seen change people's financial lives. Not a spreadsheet, not a new income stream, not a lucky break. A shift in the story. From I have nothing to I have enough to build from. From I'll never get ahead to I made it through last month and I'm still here. From I'm terrible with money to I'm learning slowly and that counts. Research from Harvard Business School found that people who practice financial gratitude, who actively acknowledge what they do, have rather than fixating on what they lack, make measurably better financial decisions. They are less impulsive, more patient, more willing to delay gratification for long-term gain. Gratitude is a financial strategy, a real one. Not instead of budgeting and saving and planning, alongside it. Because the mindset you bring to your money shapes every single decision you make with it. Be grateful for what you have while building what you want. Those two things are not in conflict. They are partnership. Now, the third one is relationship. I want to tell you something that I think about more than almost anything else. We are remarkably bad at being grateful for people while we still have them. We notice our partners when they frustrate us. We notice our parents when they're difficult. We notice our friends when they are unavailable. We take for granted, completely, dangerously for granted, the people who are simply always there. And then something happens. An illness, a falling out, a move, a loss. And we would trade everything we own for one more ordinary Tuesday with that person. There is a practice in psychology called the George Bailey effect, named after the character in It's a Wonderful Life. It involves imagining your life without the people you love, without the relationships you have, without the ordinary moments that make up your actual days. Studies show this practice dramatically increases relationship satisfaction and feelings of gratitude. Not by finding new things to love, but by truly seeing what you already have. You don't need to lose someone to appreciate them. You don't need to stop sleepwalking through the time you have with them. Tell the person you love that you love them today. Not because something bad might happen, because something good is happening right now. It's called your life, and they are in it. Fourth, growth. This last one is the one I personally find the most difficult and the most necessary. Gratitude for your past self. Not the highlight reel version, the actual version. The one who made the choices you regret. The one who stayed too long, left too soon, said the wrong thing, missed the moment, wasted the time. That person got you here. Every hard season you survive, every mistake that taught you something you couldn't have learned any other way. Every version of yourself you've had to outgrow. Those were not failures. They were tuition. Growth is not a straight line. It is messy. It is non-linear. And sometimes it looks like going backwards before you can go forward. And if you are sitting here today, listening to this, thinking about who you are becoming, making 1% shifts, learning to say no, learning to rest, then you have already done something extraordinary. You have kept going. That deserves some gratitude from you to you. We are so quick to thank other people and so slow to acknowledge our own resilience. But you have been through things, real things, and you are still here, still growing, still reaching. That is not small. That is everything. Your challenge this week is simple, but I want you to do it differently than you've done gratitude before. Tonight, before you sleep, I want you to write down 3 things. But here's the rule. None of them can be obvious. None of them can be the easy answers. Not my health or my family, unless you write something specific about them. Not a general good thing. A real, particular, textured moment or truth from your actual day. Something like the way the light came through the kitchen window this morning and for 10 seconds everything felt okay. Or the fact that my kid texted me something dumb and I laughed and for a minute nothing else existed. Or even, I hated today but I got through it. And somewhere in that is something worth acknowledging. Specific, honest, yours. Do that for 7 days. Just 7. And notice what starts to shift. Not in your circumstances, but in where your eyes go. What you start to notice. What you start to reach for. Remember David? Bare apartment, mattress on the floor, his daughter calling it sad. He started this exact practice the week after that morning. Nothing in his life changed immediately. The divorce was still real. The financial pressures was still real. But he told me something that I've never forgotten. He said, I started noticing my daughter's laugh, really noticing it. Like it was something rare and precious. And then I started noticing other things. And then one day, I realized I wasn't just surviving the weekend visits. I was living for them. Gratitude didn't fix his life. It gave him his life back. And that, in the end, is what it does for all of us. Not a better life on paper, a life we can actually feel. That's episode 5. 5 weeks, 5 conversations that I genuinely hope have meant something to you. If you've been with me from the beginning, thank you. Truly, you are the reason this exists. If today is your first episode, welcome. Go back and listen to the others. They build on each other in a way that I think you will feel. Share this one if it hit you somewhere real. Not because I want the numbers, but because someone in your life might need to hear that it's okay to find gratitude in the mess. That the mess might actually be the point. Next week, we're talking about something that makes most people deeply uncomfortable. Failure. What it really means. What it's really for. and why the people who fail the most are the ones, and often the ones, who end up winning. I'll see you then. Until next time, notice the small things. They are, in the end, the only things. Thank you for being here with me on the Better Life Project. If you enjoyed this episode, share it with a friend and stay tuned for more conversations that inspire growth, purpose, and a better everyday life. Until next time, take care and keep moving forward.